Man, how good was NXT last night? It's unreal how this storyline between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa is so good. And it's so simple. You can go back to NXT TakeOver Chicago and build it from there. We didn't know where they were going from there, but where we are today, I haven't been more excited about anything on WWE television in quite some time. Last night, WWE was going to give us a Johnny Gargano versus Aleister Black NXT Championship match for the main event of their weekly program. This match is good enough to main event any takeover. It's good enough to main event any WWE show, period. I knew they weren't going to give this match away on basic television. I knew they weren't. And it was quite odd how Aleister Black just came out and said, Johnny, you want it? You shall have it. We all knew Tommaso Ciampa was waiting in the shadows. The psycho killer. The best heel in WWE right now. Not because of his mic work or what he has said on the microphone in previous weeks. It's the fact that the guy, A, is working with probably the biggest babyface in the company outside of Daniel Bryan. B, the guy hasn't said anything and has gotten volcanic levels of heat. And C, he just doesn't give a shit. Look at how he portrays himself on social media. Everything rolled up into one ball. Tommaso Ciampa has done brilliantly. Last night, we were going to get Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano, but it did not happen because Tommaso Ciampa said, fuck this. This match is not happening. I'm in the same building with this guy. He is not going to get ahead of me. He beat me at TakeOver New Orleans. He's not getting this title shot. Now, I pitched the idea of the match actually happening and Tommaso Ciampa going in another psychotic way by going through Candice LeRae. Now, Candice LeRae is not afraid to mix it up with the men. We all know her history on the independent scene. So I thought that would have been good. Now, I don't know how likely that would have been if WWE is pushing this women's evolution. But if Candice LeRae was to get involved with Tommaso Ciampa, it would definitely take the storyline up a few notches. And I would love to see something like that turn personal. But WWE did a brilliant job last night simply by having Tommaso Ciampa come out during Johnny Gargano's challenger entrance. Aleister Black didn't even make an appearance last night until after all of this was done. Johnny Gargano came out first, he was being introduced first, and Tommaso Ciampa comes out and blasts him on the NXT stage. He comes out and he's got what looks to be, I don't know if it was face paint or if it was that Kinesio tape or something over his eye. He looked absolutely fucking out of this world psychotic last night. He's got one eye covered. He almost looked like a half a pirate coming out with his eye taped or painted. I don't know what he was going for, but it fit the image brilliantly. He attacks him on stage. He is brawling with Gargano by the announce desk where Percy Watson and Mauro Ranallo were sitting. They both get on the announce desk. Tommaso Ciampa wanted to give him a white noise through the announce desk. Gargano fights out. Gargano jumps off the announce desk. They start brawling by the stage. Gargano is now chasing Ciampa as Ciampa is running. Ciampa then all of a sudden regains control and throws Gargano into the LED boards that sit to the far right of the stage. Officials come out, they come check on Gargano, they pull Ciampa off of Gargano. Ciampa looks to be walking to the back as his deed is done. It was nowhere near done. Ciampa comes back as the referees had a lax inattention. Ciampa goes over to Gargano again and without any hesitation whatsoever picks this guy up and delivers the white noise that he wanted to do earlier through 2 tables that were laying beneath the stage, jumps off the stage and delivers this move in brutal-like fashion through the tables, and the visual of Gargano twitching, the visual of Gargano just buried underneath all this electrical equipment that was laying on top of the table. They showed a close-up of Gargano buried underneath all these television cables. And Candice LeRae's coming out. She's screaming. EMTs come out. Gargano's twitching. They're having a problem lifting him up onto the gurney. Gargano, at this point, completely out of it. Nowhere near shape to compete for the NXT Championship. Tommaso Ciampa disappears. His job is done. Johnny Gargano's not getting a title shot at Aleister Black. They continue on by lifting Gargano on the gurney, and they take him out of the arena. They lift him into the ambulance. The ambulance drives off. The visual as they're going by the locker room of everybody just completely worried about Johnny Gargano's well-being. How could this happen? Everybody's shocked. Attention to detail. They got the shocking, facial expressions of everybody in the back. Candice LeRae is there. She's, running with the gurney and by her husband's side. They lift the gurney into the ambulance. Candice LeRae gets into the ambulance and the ambulance drives away. The camera pans to the left. You see Cassius Ohno right before the ambulance is driving away. Candice LeRae's hopping into the ambulance. Cassius Ohno was there. He looks very concerned. Aleister Black, as Johnny Gargano is being lifted into the ambulance, walks by in the foreground with the NXT Championship, and he's looking down at Johnny Gargano with this sinister look on his face. He wanted legitimately to give Johnny Gargano a title shot last night, on this night during the NXT tapings, and he is not able to do so. So I was very pleased to see the visual of Aleister Black walking by. Ambulance drives away, camera pans on top of the production truck, and you see Tommaso Ciampa smiling, waving goodbye to Johnny Gargano, man. Absolutely fucking sinister, evil, and brilliant. I love it. I love it. And this is the work of a man who hasn't said much of anything during this feud. It's been all done by action. And people legitimately want to see this guy get his ass kicked. This is why I've made the comparisons of go-away heat and legitimate wrestler heel heat. Like, legitimate heat from the fans to a superstar where they legitimately want to see him get his ass kicked by the babyface. Compared to go-away heat, which you can definitely figure out what go-away heat is, that's the type of heat Roman Reigns has. The type of heat that, a wrestler receives that is not right for his character. And you watch Tommaso Ciampa do it right, and it's something that just puts a smile on your face, man. This is brilliant stuff. This is brilliant stuff. Aleister Black then comes out and mentions Tommaso Ciampa by name. I thought he was legitimately going to give Tommaso Ciampa a title shot just for the simple fact that he didn't get one with Johnny Gargano. But all of a sudden, Sanity comes out. And they stop Aleister Black mid-sentence when he was about to address Tommaso Ciampa. This is exciting for one reason, man, because Aleister Black is the NXT champion. He promised Johnny Gargano a title shot. And the way Aleister Black is, you can see he takes great pride in being NXT champion. You could see that Aleister Black is not afraid to put the title up against anybody. And if Aleister Black had his plans and his night ruined, and he is the NXT champion, and he is the leader of the locker room, and he had to see what I'm sure he knows is the heart and soul of NXT, how fighting of a wrestler Johnny Gargano is, and how proud of a wrestler Johnny Gargano is, and how Johnny Gargano wants to fight and challenge for the NXT Championship. And that was taken away from him. I could see Aleister Black standing up for Johnny Gargano and pretty much helping him fight Tommaso Ciampa. What they did last night is set it up beautifully to the point where Tommaso Ciampa could potentially win the NXT Championship. Now, I don't know why he would be gifted a championship. I don't know why anybody in NXT management would give this guy a championship match or allow it to happen. But it's not at their discretion. If Aleister Black wants to defend the title, he's going to defend the title against anybody that he wants. He did it against Johnny Gargano. He could certainly do it against Tommaso Ciampa. But the next layer in this saga is how we get Tommaso Ciampa to get a title shot at Aleister Black. And if they do go down that road, this is shaping up to be one of the most epic years in the history of WWE. Can you imagine Johnny Gargano being out for how many months? I don't know how many months he's going to be out. They may actually keep him out till the next TakeOver event, because I don't see him coming back from this anytime soon. Johnny Gargano is going to be out till Money in the Bank weekend. That's what people who have texted me had, thought of. This is what I'm hearing is the right amount of time for him to be out. Tommaso Ciampa versus Aleister Black. The best heel in NXT versus Aleister Black, who's over as a babyface as NXT champion. Tommaso Ciampa wins the NXT Championship. By however, WWE decides he wins the championship, that's up to them. But Tommaso Ciampa would, at the end of this thing, win the championship that was promised to Johnny Gargano. And when Johnny Gargano comes back, the title match is set for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa in the main event in Brooklyn, SummerSlam weekend with the title on the line, and Johnny Gargano gets his championship by going through his best friend, or ex-best friend. Can you imagine how epic that would be? Now, it really makes you think, in retrospect, what Johnny Gargano did with Almas at TakeOver Philadelphia. How we all watched that, and I've said it many times, how you watch that, and it's very difficult not to give Gargano the title in that situation. If this is where NXT is going with this storyline, looking back on that Almas match, I'm glad they didn't give him the championship then. They would have proved us all wrong. They would have played with our emotions on that January night. But if this is where they're going with Tommaso Ciampa, if this is any indication of where I think they're going, and Tommaso Ciampa ends up with the title that Johnny Gargano so wants, this is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Aleister Black could lose the title in Chicago. I've said it many times for Aleister Black. He doesn't need the title. Aleister Black is so over as a in-ring performer and as a character on NXT television that he doesn't need the title. I mean, realistically, Aleister Black, I don't want him to be a transitional champion, but if this is a transitional phase for Aleister Black, to pass it off to Tommaso Ciampa to enhance this storyline, if I'm Aleister Black, I am okay with it, man, because that title mixed in with the Gargano-Ciampa feud, now, the blood part of the feud is over. The blood part of the feud is over. Gargano beat Ciampa at TakeOver New Orleans. He got his job back. Now Ciampa is going to ruin this guy's life in NXT. He's going to take away the one thing that Gargano so desperately wants. Many people said the title doesn't need to be added to this feud. I disagree, man. The title being added to Gargano and Ciampa for TakeOver Brooklyn is going to enhance this feud to the point where we are going to be fucking foaming at the mouth when Gargano wins this title. And who's to say Gargano doesn't repay Aleister Black back with another championship match, you know, as a favor for standing by him and sticking up for him and fighting alongside of him in this Tommaso Ciampa saga, you know? What if Aleister Black doesn't get a rematch against Tommaso Ciampa? What if Gargano wins the title and grants Aleister Black the title shot that Aleister Black granted Gargano, but he didn't get? Everything comes full circle. You don't think Johnny Gargano is going to be a fighting champion? I don't think this Tommaso Ciampa feud is ever going to end. You know, people say Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, they'll fight forever. Wherever they are, they'll fight forever. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano are NXT's version of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. These guys will fight forever. You think it's over? It's never going to be over. You think Gargano's going to win the title from Tommaso Ciampa in the direction that WWE's going with this? At that point, I still don't even think it's over. There'll be another layer of psychoticness to Tommaso Ciampa. This is so exciting, man. And I said it with Gargano winning his job back. The priority here for Gargano, storyline-wise, is him winning the title. WWE would be doing the worst thing possible if Johnny Gargano did not win that NXT Championship at least once. At least once. They can't be that thick-headed. They know they have a Daniel Bryan 2.0, a Daniel Bryan moment waiting for Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, with Gargano winning that title. They have to know. That could be the best visual of the WWE calendar year when Gargano wins that title. And they're doing it, and it's brilliantly working out for them, man. I'm fucking excited about where this goes. And I think that's where they're going. I will not be happy unless Tommaso Ciampa somehow steals, and I mean literally, by any means necessary. That's his priority now. He took out Gargano. He thinks Gargano's out. Now Tommaso Ciampa's priority is, you know, taking that title away from Aleister Black by any means necessary, for the simple fact that he doesn't want Johnny Gargano to get a shot or have the title. Love it. I absolutely love it. That's the way they need to go, and I can't wait to see what they do with it. How good is Undisputed, man? My God, do they look the part. They are fucking fantastic. They carry themselves like fucking champions. Adam Cole is just brilliant as a leader, man. Adam Cole is one of the best things in all of WWE right now. We had Roderick Strong come out, and they started the show off last night. Cole on the mic. I wish WWE would upload the promos to their YouTube channel so I could play it for you guys, but everybody got to turn on the microphone here. Even Bobby Fish, who's come out injured, but having him stand there next to Undisputed is a nice visual, because they are a unit. And all because Bobby Fish is out for a very, very long time, he still makes his appearances, and it looks like a complete unit with him there, even though he's not able to compete. Cole on the mic talks about all the gold that is in the group. Fish then says they've been thrown to the wolves over and over and over again, but the Undisputed Era remain one step ahead every single time. And then the man of the hour, Roderick Strong. Why, Roddy? Why? Why did he turn on Pete Dunne? Strong says everyone wants to know why, Roddy, why? Why didn't he try and win the tag team titles with Pete Dunne? He says for once he did something for himself. And at TakeOver, he made the best decision of his career. Says he could have won the tag team titles with Pete Dunne, but how long until Pete Dunne turns on Roderick Strong? All Pete Dunne cares about is his United Kingdom Championship. He says it's always been Roddy versus the world, so why not fight together and take over NXT? Kyle O'Reilly then gets a chance to say what he wants and says the group won't be backed into a corner and they can't be stopped. Times are changing and we're leaving everyone in the dust. Adam Cole then takes the microphone and says he's going one-on-one in his first North American Championship title defense against Oney Lorcan, and he wants to do it on his own. And then he laughs because he says who needs help against someone like Oney Lorcan? And he just laughs that Oney Lorcan is much more inferior to Adam Cole. Now, this match was going pretty well, man. Adam Cole took advantage early. Oney Lorcan then tries to mount a comeback. He hits his signature moves, very stiff big kick, running blockbuster neck breaker. Lorcan with his running European uppercut. Cole tries to come back. Oney Lorcan dumps him over the top rope. Adam Cole stated that he didn't need Undisputed's help, but Adam Cole during the match, visibly from the ladder match, still wearing tape around his ribcage. So Oney Lorcan dumps him over the top rope. Adam Cole on the outside holding his ribcage. We got Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong come out with a trainer. And Kyle O'Reilly comes out doing the X sign as if Adam Cole is legitimately hurt. Trainer's looking at him. On the opposite side, Roderick Strong drops Oney Lorcan with a belly-to-back suplex on the ring apron, throws Oney Lorcan back in the ring. Referee doesn't know what the fuck's going on. He's looking at Adam Cole. He's looking at the trainer. The trainer's talking to the referee. Kyle O'Reilly's over there doing his best to distract everybody, while Roddy is taking care of Oney Lorcan. So Kyle O'Reilly says, no, Adam Cole's okay. Adam Cole's okay. Adam Cole gets back in the ring. He don't know what the hell's going on. Oney Lorcan standing in the middle of the ring. He's in the middle of the ring on his knees. Adam Cole delivers the last shot. Shining Wizard to the back of the fucking head. Done. 1, 2, 3. Adam Cole wins the match. And he retains the North American Championship. You gotta love Undisputed, man. You gotta love Undisputed and how sly and calculating they are. They just don't give any fucks. And I love it. Best stable in all of WWE right now, man. And I want to see more added. I want to see a legitimate takeover of the company, of the brand, with Undisputed. I think it's great, and I'm loving what they're doing right now, man. They look like fucking winners. And Adam Cole is going to be fucking great in WWE, man. I can't wait to watch him grow and be that guy in WWE. Because he's got the makings of one, and you can see what he's working with right now. WWE did a lot of vignettes for the women here in NXT. They did a lot of vignettes. They did one for Shayna Baszler. They did one for Kairi Sane. They did one for Bianca Belair. They did one for Lacey Evans. They did one for Candice LeRae. And the only thing that I could come up with is because WWE has all this controversy surrounding the Greatest Royal Rumble and that women aren't allowed to compete in Saudi Arabia and the women won't be traveling with the company during this massive event that's happening tomorrow. Figure WWE is going to give some love to the females because of all the outrage that they're not able to compete in Saudi Arabia. So, you know, they're showing some love. Even though NXT isn't traveling with WWE over to Saudi Arabia, you know, they figured they'd show some love and highlight some of the women that you're going to be seeing this year in NXT, man. They did a vignette for Shayna Baszler. How long am I going to hold on to this title? Let me ask you, she says, who's going to take it from me? Shayna Baszler's, man. She's doing very good for herself so far in NXT. Another one I can't wait to see watch grow. They did a vignette for my favorite, man, Bianca Belair. She is the EST of NXT. And we see a bunch of clips of her training and her going through a bunch of training at the Performance Center and a nice highlight package of some of her signature moves. And then, obviously, her signature braid that she uses as a lethal weapon during her matches. Can't wait to see Bianca Belair grow in the NXT Women's Division, man. She's going to be the best thing in this division by the end of the year. Mark my words. Heavy Machinery versus Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss. Fun fact, I don't know if you guys know, Tino Sabatelli is actually dating Mandy Rose. So I didn't know that, man. I found that out recently. So lucky him, I guess, huh? This match was relatively short, man. We had Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss get their ass kicked by Heavy Machinery, and they start working together to take down Dojovic, who is entertaining in his own right. And Moss charges in on Dojovic but misses and slams into Sabatelli. That sends him to the floor. Dojovic is able to tag out. Knight goes to work on Riddick Moss. Sabatelli's back on the apron. Hand is reached out to make the tag. Jumps off the apron. And Sabatelli backs away. He heads to the back. Heavy Machinery takes advantage by hitting the compactor, which looked brutal on Riddick Moss. 1, 2, 3. We got Heavy Machinery getting a win. Heavy Machinery then post-match takes the microphone. They talk about eating all the steaks and lifting all the weights. So there was a chant of steaks and weights in the NXT arena, man, at Full Sail University. War Raiders, they attack them from behind. They aren't going to let that go, say Heavy Machinery. So they say they are coming for war, man. Nice matchup there for War Raiders for a big first program in NXT, man. That should be very entertaining. Heavy Machinery is an entertaining team, man. They're very lively, and the crowd loves them. There's nothing to not like about Heavy Machinery, man. But that should be a damn good feud. Heavy Machinery versus War Raiders as their first big feud in NXT. They showed a vignette for Nikki Cross as well. Aaliyah talks some trash about Shayna Baszler and wishes she could ride the coattails of a best friend, but doesn't actually mention Ronda Rousey's name. So Kairi Sane says she knows Shayna Baszler's weakness. Backstage, Kathy Kelly is talking to Dakota Kai, who is still upset and scared about having to deal with Shayna Baszler because, you know, Kairi Sane, or not Kairi Sane, but Dakota Kai had her arm mangled by Shayna Baszler in January. So Baszler suddenly shows up, and with Kathy Kelly interviewing Dakota Kai, Kai looks super nervous. Baszler says, "Look at me." She didn't want to look at Shayna Baszler. And then Shayna Baszler says, "You looked to follow your dreams in NXT, but how do you feel about a women's division that is run by me? Your worst nightmare," says Shayna Baszler. And then she walks off smiling. I just love that confidence, and I love that prick-like attitude from Shayna Baszler, man. It's definitely helping her as a character, and I love it. You know, she feels she could do whatever she wants. Came in from the MMA, and she's shitting all over the women that have trained in the Performance Center for all these years to aspire to be a pro wrestler. She's come into NXT and has taken the title and the dreams away from everybody in such a short amount of time, man. It fits her character perfectly. All she has to do is get better in the ring, and I hope she does. And if she's becoming, you know, as good as she is on the microphone now, and she's coming into her own, hopefully that will soon follow. So I'm loving the work Shayna Baszler is doing right now. Kona Reeves is coming out next week, and I'm looking to see what they do with this guy, man. Solid Monster said he looks like the Hawaiian version of Johnny Mundo. And I thought that was a brilliant description of what Kona Reeves looks like, man. So we'll see what happens next week. Interesting to see. I'm always up for adding more talent, but if the guy can go in the ring, which a lot of you stated that he could, because some of you were actually watching my NXT reviews in the past couple of weeks and said that you've seen him at some of the house shows that you went to for NXT in Florida. And a lot of you guys were very impressed. If the character and the in-ring work go together, I'm looking forward to seeing more of Kona Reeves, man. We talked about the whole Johnny Gargano and TOMASSO CIAMPA thing, man. Brilliant stuff. At the end of this thing, we had Aleister Black in the ring wanting to address TOMASSO CIAMPA. He did not get to do so. Eric Young came out, and he confronted Aleister Black. Now, we had Eric Young state on the microphone that Johnny Gargano provided hope. Chaos took that hope away. He continues that out of the chaos, there will be greatness and sanity. Aleister Black cuts him off and says, "Are you looking for this?" And holds up the NXT title. And Eric Young, the camera pans on Eric Young, and he smiles so sinister-like, man. You know, he's talking all this shit, but he really wants the NXT title, which made me LOL. So Young obviously says yes, and we have an impromptu match. Johnny Gargano is not able to compete. He didn't get to address Tommaso Ciampa, so we have Eric Young versus Aleister Black. Man, this was a decent match. Aleister Black wins by, what else? Black Mass. Black Mass to Eric Young. Young reversed a modified Death Valley driver. Young heads up to the top rope for his elbow drop. Black catches him, goes up to the top as well. He gets knocked off. Jump Young jumps off and rolls through. Young ends up on the apron, slides into the ring with a black mass awaiting him right to the face. And we have Aleister Black retaining the NXT Championship in his first defense of the title since winning it from Almas at TakeOver New Orleans. Post-match, Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane try to run in and protect Eric Young, but they both get black masses for their troubles. Black celebrates in the ring with the title as NXT goes off the air. The only reason why I think they allowed Aleister Black to lay out all of Sanity is because they did the job. They did the honors. They're being promoted to SmackDown Live, so we're not going to be really seeing much of Sanity in NXT from this point on. NXT was very good last night, man. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. If you're not watching NXT, man, I urge you to start watching it. I really urge you to start watching it. This is going to end, I feel, in epic proportions, and we are on the verge of something special with Johnny Gargano. He will be. Mark my words, man. I hope I'm not wrong on this. Mark my words. It will be Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT Championship at TakeOver Brooklyn. I can't wait. Very exciting to see where they go with this, man. But thank you guys so much. I will be back tomorrow. There will be no Off the Script tomorrow. This is a channel update. There will be no Off the Script tomorrow. I got 5 hours of the greatest Roman Rumble, and we need to watch that and make sure that goes well. Review will go up almost immediately after the show. So I don't want to hear about spoilers. I don't care if you didn't watch it. I have a job to do. I'm home. I'm grounded. People expect a review from me. You watch the review. It'll be waiting in your sub boxes. If you don't want to know what happened, you watch the show for yourself, and then you watch me. Because I understand that most of you will be at school or work or wherever. Time difference. Some of you may be sleeping while the show is on here. I don't know. But if you guys don't want spoilers, it'll be waiting in your sub boxes. A review will be up almost immediately. Off the Script will take place on Saturday. So if you guys want to see Off the Script, it'll be part 1 on Saturday because we got the greatest Royal Rumble on Friday. If you guys missed anything else that I did this week, SmackDown Live, Monday Night Raw, and my first chapter in God of War for PS4. Click the I in the top right corner, and it'll take you to everything that you need, man. Follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for notifications. We are almost at 92,000 subscribers, man. So make sure you guys support any way you can. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning as I'm live tweeting for the greatest Royal Rumble. I'm JD. Have a great Thursday. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the greatest Royal Rumble.